Okay, hello everybody and welcome to episode number
93. Good evening, welcome, and thank you for waiting. We're not too late, no?
Pretty good.
Half an hour or so,
Good, yeah.
pretty much on time.
Yeah. 93. Wow, what a number. Today we have a few topics here. One is, of course, more tones. We have the Bogner, we have the Fender, we have my good old 64 Super Reverb here, which I serviced myself yesterday with Kontaktspray, and here these nice little things, and I measured the plate voltage on the tubes, and I was kind of shocked. Man, 510 volts, it's quite a lot, but it's hot, and therefore it is actually really good. So my Super Reverb is in good shape. It's a good reference, so we can have a nice A-B section.
Yeah, I think we're all excited to hear the difference between the real thing and the new real thing, which is behind Thomas there.
Yeah, which is a digital Fender Tone Master, a lot lighter, and yeah, let's see. But before we dive into this, there's a German iconic amp builder who has made this pedal and many amps, Thomas Reusenzehn from Frankfurt, who passed away after cancer. This guy was quite a character, and I met him a few times, at Frankfurt shows and wherever, and he saw that I was using where's actually my other one? This is called the Max Röhrig, but I have on my board there is the what is it called?
Oh, it's a booster, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm looking around.
Look at my board; it's fucking there. It's the same thing. It just has a different name, and I liked what he has done. And I used to have one of his preamps, the golden one, which is kind of a Fender clean and a Marshall overdrive. Ultra heavy, built like a tank. But the authentic tube tone, the real deal, how it should be. I used that in my rack back 20 years ago or something like that, and he was kind of a character. When the Frankfurt guys, they can be a bit rough, so. But he inspired so many musicians by amps that he designed or tweaked. At the beginning, he modified Marshalls, like they were Fenders, and he came from the school of being a technician, servicing, and then slipping into that role of creating his own products. And then for instance, my good friend Ali Neander, Rodgau Monotones, they were totally into Roy amps. And I remember seeing Ali with Roy amps, which were kind of the real deal, old school, like these loud, men's toys. And so was Thomas Reusenzehn. Then he kind of went a little bit into the hi-fi direction and built high-end hi-fi stuff.
Yeah.
And he had a reputation for that as well, because he understood tube technology, and he was good at what he was doing. It is the old school tube technology, but he was kind of one of those cooks who knew what he was cooking, so he understood, and did some great sounding devices. Yeah, so I have this on my board. Rest in peace, Thomas. And talking about people not being there anymore, it's weird. I looked at the calendar and I found out Gary Moore passed away 11 years ago last Sunday.
Okay.
And Gary Moore was one of my biggest heroes. And yeah, just thinking about Gary Moore again is like so important, how much influence he had on me and maybe some other players of my generation, because he had that extraordinary fire and tone in the fingers. I mean, we all know the tone comes from the fingers, but he is that kind of example. And when it comes to amps, you know, he had a 50-watt Soldano on Still Got the Blues in the studio, but he used a lot of Marshalls, of course, obviously. And Gary Moore had also different phases musically, like in the 70s, Colosseum, John Heisman, Don Airey, now in Deep Purple, they had kind of a progressive fusion project, and Gary was ripping it off, playing weird amps, sometimes Fender amps. Then he was Thin Lizzy with Phil Lynott, and did the rock thing. Then he quit, and then he came back, and then he had his kind of solo career. This is where I kind of took notice of him first in the 80s. So the Gary Moore Corridors of Power thing with the Charvel Super Strats, and I think he used, back in the days, he used like DS1 overdrive into Marshalls for more gain. But you know, of course, the Stax, the wall of sound with the recipe of having a gain pedal into an Plexi or 800 style overdrive amp to tighten it up, to have it screaming, and then of course with Jackson guitars and stuff that he used kind of in this 80s to 90s. And then he discovered his love for the blues, and he had this huge hit of Still Got the Blues. And then he changed his amp setups and guitars, and is famous for playing this greeny Peter Green guitar that now is in the hands of Kirk
Hammett from Metallica.
Yeah, so at least it's being played.
Yeah, exactly. At least it's not in a bank vault somewhere just collecting dust and going up and up in price. But yeah, it just we do seem to lose more legends from the origins of the guitar now. We talked about Howard Dumble's passing just the last time I was on, and you know, now we have some more, and it's sad times, and hopefully there will be more people coming through to
fill that gap,
to fill the gap with a bit of inspiration and genius to, you know, make the next inspirational devices for us.
I think there is some people, you know, when I remember going to the trade shows, which was pre-COVID, NAMM show, Nashville, or the other NAMM show, the small boutique pedal builders, there is many people into that tone territory. I think the biggest problem for them is maybe some of them are not the best technicians, and you know, they will pick up the knowledge somehow, or they have to team up with other people to get there. But I've seen younger faces being super interested in getting good tones. So somehow there is hope. And on the player side as well. I mean, the whole world is changing. I mean, we used to listen to vinyl. I have Gary Moore on vinyl, you know, Corridors of Power, then on CD as well. So I have the album like twice. And then what was the Wild Frontiers, some of this 80s stuff, which is great. And let me put that guitar behind me. Yeah, maybe make a little bit of noise in the 80s style of Gary Moore.
Yeah, why not?
Just for the fun of it.
Why not?
And to do that, I keep it simpler. I think this amp is just for fun, you know, me playing Iridium is... Yeah. Anyway, my memory is I haven't played. This is like how many years ago? 3 decades already. 1980s is 30 years ago.
More than.
Yeah.
Depending on when it
okay.
came
I mean,
out,
yeah. But this is like, okay. I forgot about the licks. But you know, Gary Moore he hit it hard. So, see, Iridium Classic channel, I haven't even bothered anything. Middle position, gain on full, done. So I think modern amps can deliver their tone even without the pedals. Of course, we can go all 100% authentic and have that tube screamer, extra mid-hump, extra push, but it's what the guys had to deal with in the past to tighten up the amps and to make that high gain. It's already there, you know, and those little nuances, piece of cake today. Back in the days, it was like, oh, I had my secret weapon here and that. So that's, I remember, yeah, there was secrets. Today, different times, good, no secrets.
Yeah, today we have the internet.
Yeah.
And forums.
Yeah.
And you can't keep secrets anymore.
Yeah, and there's a picture on the internet, so you can see the pedal board from live, and some guy just has a camera, and there's the picture of the secret, you know. And but I like it. I'm happy about these open times, because we can concentrate on what's really important. It's like make your music and get the knowledge to get the best tone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the Gary Moore thing. And yeah, back to Gary Moore with the Les Paul and the Still Got the Blues era. He changed the amps and the settings, of course. yeah, for a different tone. But he could actually handle high gain in a nice way. Some people play high gain with a light touch, but I liked the way he, you know, to me, the picture is kind of the guitar's burning, you know, it's like when overdrive. Yeah, to deal with high gain is an art by itself. Again, you know, if you put this guitar with this amount of gain in somebody unexperienced hands, it's like a lot of noise and not a tone. So, and you know, Gary had a touch. So this was the thing. I mean, he can play low gain, high gain, whatever, but the tone was in the hands. And even with high gain, that's maybe the point. Even with high gain, you could hear the personality, the energy he could put behind the string. That's boom, hit you in the heart. So that was a hero for me.
Would he use delay like that, by the way? I asked because Sven asks, what are your delay pedal settings there? And would that be similar to what actually, Gary would have been using?
Yeah, he always had, I mean, in the 80s, he had rack mounts, I think Korg or what was it, SD 3000. Then I saw on a live album, I think he had a little analog delay. So to get the wall of sound, he had some delay. Actually kind of similar to what I have. Maybe he had the Ibanez, I think the red one I saw on one picture. But to be honest, on the Iridium, which I was just playing in here, it's just a reverb. Before, on the Mercury, I had my delay. Okay, doing this type of delay, when you play, it disappears, but when you stop, it's there. And if you switch it off while playing, it loses a dimension. It just makes it wider. You know. I mean, basically, you are emulating kind of a stadium. You know, it's like you want to be a rock star, you play a stadium. What are the settings? Kind of in the middle of everything. This is a DD2 effect level. I'm parallel, middle, feedback, kind of in the middle. Delay time. There's nothing special. 400 milliseconds, and I do have my modded one, which I actually prefer, where the repeats are not as clean, but there's an issue with the socket here. So therefore, I have the other one. Zack. How many more DD2s do you want? I have DD3s as well. and one on my board, and you know, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's the classic, isn't it? But it's a digital delay, not an analog. But it has these kind of warm repeats as opposed to kind of pristine delay repeats.
This is like the first generation of digital delays, and they were sounding not so cold. They got better and better, and that's not even better tone. It's kind of too clean. Now with the new generation of DD7 and whatever number we are on now with Boss lately, they come back to the old quality as well, to have that, as a preset. And I bought it just because David Gilmour has one, so I needed to have one, and now I love it. Okay. What I would like to do next, if you don't mind, is to do the Fender, the big Fender thing.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about that. So it's the Fender Tone Master Deluxe Reverb.
Yeah. So Fender, and usually there would be a reverb tank with a spring that would rattle like crazy, but it doesn't, and it is. It is something. Let me show you. Okay, my AMP1 is here. That's my AMP1. I wanted to listen to the Fender. The Fender is... here. It's so authentic. Can you please come down from the cellar? Hello. Hello. And it's digital, fucking fake. Great.
And it's incredibly light. That's one thing that we have to mention, isn't it?
Almost.
It's so light that...
I can almost hit it with one hand while sitting. No, it is, compared to the authentic old amp, it's, I don't know, at least 3 times less the weight. This thing is easy to carry around. This thing is modern convenience with the traditional look. And that's their concept, and it's great. So if you want a fake vintage Fender, here we go. It's so authentic. Nobody can tell the difference. Okay, let's go back to 5.
What's the signal chain for the guys at home? What are they hearing exactly?
Actually, we hear the Fender through my setup here, which is funnily enough the blue box, because I wanted to do the A/B switching.
Yeah.
And let's heat up this gentleman over here.
Mm-hmm. The original.
The original. When I was giving it a bit... Oh, where is the... it's in the Bogner. We have to plug in So this goes into the front in the vibrato.
Yeah. So this is a super reverb.
That's a super reverb.
And what year is that from?
I think it's a 64.
Right, okay.
And I own this amp for many, many years. It's one of my best amps, I have to say. And when I serviced it a little bit yesterday, maybe can you get it around you? Because I can hold the Gibson if needed. So, and okay, my cable here. Let's use the right output so we don't kill it. Is this long enough? Yes, it is.
The professionalism of live YouTube, everybody. Please bear with us for a second. But yeah, so what I thought would be super cool is hearing your original up against this Tone Master.
Yeah.
The idea behind the Tone Master is, I think Fender have gone the opposite direction compared to a lot of the modelers, because they've effectively done a digital amp with just the one model.
Okay.
You know, you don't get thousands of options and choices.
Okay, let's see.
You're not going to kill us all, are you?
Well, let's see.
Hopefully not.
I know the plate voltage is a bit too high for it.
Yeah.
But okay, I don't have a reverb tank on this one now. This is the original super reverb. So here, just to prove. I found that was my favorite tone yesterday. And just for me, I make the A-B comparison. That's the AMP1. Okay, switch off the reverb. That's the Fender. And that's the AMP1. Fender. So I had a little bit more sparkle. Yeah, so
that was the AMP1 at the end, right?
That's the AMP1. And this was...
And that was the Bluebird.
Well, it is still working. We can leave it there. It's a reference. Nobody can touch it. Okay. So anyway, there's one thing I'm actually very jealous when it comes to this Tone Master here. That's my reverb.
What are your settings on the AMP1, just for anyone who might want to recreate this sound?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start. Let's start without the boost. The tone is on 1 o'clock. The volume, clean volume, is on almost 8, 7.5 to 8. What else is important? Bass on 10, middle on 6.5, treble on 7.5, and the master on 7. And the reverb depends on. Well, I like reverb for Fender amps.
Yeah.
So therefore I would switch it on. That's the Fender. Did I use the boost or not? At this point, I just like the boost a little bit.
Hardy says he's always impressed how close AMP1 comes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I like it even best with the boost on minimum and on.
So the boost custom control is turned all the way down,
all the way
but
down.
The boost activated. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The thing is, this amp now has a plate voltage of 510 volts. I was measuring it. Officially, it should be 450. These are 606 GC tubes. They can handle 500 by spec. So have an extra 10 volts surviving. It's okay.
So I'm under pressure here, sat in front of it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to make my hair curl or something. If
Absolutely.
It gets too hot.
It will dry your hair immediately.
Perfect.
But this amp is now in the sweet spot condition. I tried other settings and stuff, but this is like where I like it. Yeah, because it has all that articulation, and that's what I love from the Fenders. Let's check out the Tone Master.
Yeah, because a big critique of digital amps is that, you know, they sound great in a mix, in a fully produced track, but when you play them on their own, the feel is not quite there.
Yeah.
But also what they seem to lack is just kind of almost like a 3D-ness to the sound, you know? Imagine it that you're playing the original amp and it sounds like a 3D experience, and it goes down to 2D when you play the digital modeler. It just lacks something in the warmth and the harmonic overtones. Is that how you describe it?
The first thing I can notice is there's a latency.
Okay.
And this comes when I maybe, if there's still some crosstalk from this mic, you might be able to hear it. The Tone Master. The pick. It's not much, but it's there. Guys,
Lucky for me, I never play that fast.
And it doesn't matter. If you don't feel it, if you don't hear it, it's all good. You know, I'm not against modelers. It is just, for me, I grew up on analog amps, and I like the feel of this fast and authentic and cooking analog amp. The digital technology gets very, very good. I still feel it. That's my Okay, let's try to be fair.
Is it something though that would put you off? You know, if you turned up at a show and had to play, would it affect your performance, or is it small enough that you just notice it? You'd rather not have it, but it doesn't affect the performance.
I can adjust to things.
Yeah.
You know, it is not ideal, but it's like, come on, you're standing. The effect is like you are 3 meters away from your cabinet in travel time of what's the time of the sound speed. That's the latency. I feel it like 3 meters. Okay, you are on the stage anyhow, but it depends on where is the amp placed and stuff like that, and then you can adjust to it. And maybe some young players that grew up with modelers, they can't play real amps anymore. It's like, whoops, this thing is way too fast for me.
Yeah, too direct. Yeah.
Yeah, and they that's. But for me, it's still the old school thing that gets me. That inspires me, and so on. Let's see tone-wise. Tone Master and now Fender. It's not really fair because the Super Reverb has a mid control. And so it's, Fender amps generally are very close, especially from that era. And they've done a brilliant job. So we should compare a real Deluxe Reverb versus the digital one.
Yeah.
That would be fair. But we don't have one, so we have to have my Super Reverb. Tone-wise, I have no complaints.
It's very close, especially in the room for us. I mean, I hope for you guys at home it's close.
And for you guys, it's brutal because we have direct out, which means we're using the blue box. Every amp that you're listening to is going to exact the same speaker simulation.
Yeah.
so that's the only way to be fair when we compare products or amps.
Yeah.
And therefore there's a reference.
Yeah.
Maybe the speaker in there is adding some extra flavors, which is great, but it sounds good to me. And this is Blue Box is my reference anyhow.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Roughly, what would you pay for one of these on the market at the moment?
Hey guys, do you know what a Super Reverb is these days?
Any idea?
There are a few thousand.
A few thousand.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they are 5 or more. I bought this 20, 30 years ago, and
you bought it with a case, right? It sits
with a 410 speaker, which sits in the next room, and that's actually exactly the speakers. Well, from that combo, it's a 410 combo. Is in the Blue Box. The 410 is.
Is it modeled on that exact amp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. On that speaker from that amp.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just 3 meters behind the wall. It sits there. I don't get it. Because it's behind a lot of shit. But it's sitting there, and it's the original cabinet from the same amp. And I used that amp on my first solo record, and I used it in my studio days a lot, because a Super Reverb is one of the best amps because it has a rectifier tube. Let me show you. I mean, that's the thing. There's the Fender growl and all that nice fluffy stuff you get from, especially the Super Reverb has that sponginess, and that's killer.
Can we get that sponginess out of this one? That would be a good test for it.
Yeah, let me show you. It is a bit, the lower end is not as focused.
Yeah.
I like it better on my Super Reverb.
Almost sounds a bit fizzy to me in the room anyway.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this amp doesn't have a mid control, and that doesn't. It falls apart earlier than the Super Reverb, and the mids on the Super Reverb are. Let's see on the AMP1. I think it's closer to
that's closer. The AMP1 is closer. I do note, by the way, that Fender do make a Tone Master version of the Super Reverb, which is a 4x10. So, I mean, obviously we couldn't get that because this was the one that the local store 604 had for us.
604, thanks to 604.
Yeah.
And So, but still, let's put it in other words. If you are looking for a Fender combo, if you don't want to have that heavy thing, that's the way. Plug in. It looks like Fender. It sounds like Fender. Nobody can tell.
That's the thing. It looks like, a standard Fender all-tube amp, doesn't it? And it is modern, and it is half the weight of the original. And the other thing, which for me personally is cool, is the fact that you have the connectivity. Because on the back panel there, you've got DIs, and you've also got attenuation. You can go all the way down to 0.2 watts.
Yeah, let's
and that makes it very useful for, playing at home if that's something you want to do.
Yeah,
and of course, recording directly.
Yeah, stage things. Let me see if I can do that.
Chris says it doesn't have the same low end as the tube amps.
Yeah, that's what I can notice as well.
Yeah.
So just, you can't see the features, but I will do my very best. Switch 12 watts. This is 5 watts. So the power is scalable, which is a nice feature. and it has a recording amp with 2 speaker simulations built in. You know what, Rich? I think we have an XLR cable somewhere here.
Do we? Let's have a look.
Can you this one here?
This one?
Yeah. So wait a minute. We have to get this out of. Which one is it? You know what? Hold it.
Yeah.
This is tearing apart a studio. Is this the one?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. So let's see what we get from this output. This is the original Fender.
Yeah, on the Fender official website, they refer to it as a balanced XLR line output with impulse response cabinet simulations.
Yeah.
And I believe you have a choice of, is it 2 or 3 different ones?
We have 2. So, okay, now I switch off the blue box, which is this. Okay, and then I switch on this. That's the Fender, correct? Let me see. Yeah, okay, sorry guys. This is always proof of concept. Yeah, there's a Fender Knack. Okay, the blue box is down there. I have some pretty close sounding IRs for that. My Fender speakers, but makes sense. Okay, I give you the other sound as well. Number 2. That's the warmer one. The first one, and off is hi-fi. Okay, but anyway, modern connectivity.
Yeah, they sound nice. They're usable, that's for sure.
It is what you would expect from an amp like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've done the job, and okay. Any questions, guys, here while we're talking?
Jason says a Fender Super Reverb 65 reissue. So a modern day reissue is over €2,000 online. And he says better off waiting for the Amp X.
Yeah, sure.
Probably
but
right.
this is an original 64. So we are talking the real caps and the real old transformers.
Yeah.
So this is if the issue is 2,000, this is probably double the price. Go on Reverb, somebody knows it. Who cares? Or even more. Hey, the other day I found that what was it? The Fender Basement went up to 20,000 or
20,000. Okay.
They're going mad.
Yeah.
This is not as expensive, but could also be expensive.
For sure. Could we maybe hear the tremolo as well as the reverb, just to hear how that sounds?
Yeah. Okay, so we are plugged in. Okay. Here's the. Inspiring.
It's really nice.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the reverb because that sounds really authentic to me. The tremolo. Put it that way. It's not bad, but there's the last bit missing from what I remember from mine. I need a foot switch to get this working. I think it's not working without the switch. Okay, I have to get back to the blue box. Wait a minute. Fender mute, blue box. Was it this one on? Yeah. Yeah, I need the switch to get this working.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it a tone thing, or what is it that you don't quite like as much?
Okay, back to the Fender. I can describe it. It is too. It's too clean in a way.
Too pristine.
Yes, it's too predictable. And I think what happens with the original tube tremolos, since it's on the edge of breakup and the sagging, the pulse of the volume makes some chaotic things, which is very complex and maybe sounds more like a pedal to me, like a good pedal. It's not bad, but there's some magic with the original tube biased tremolo, which is coming. I would love to make a real A/B comparison. It's the last 5%, but it's where the magic lies for me. It's like I have a tube pedal, which is this one here. Can you the orange one? This tremolo. That's a flip from what's the Tone, Japanese company, and that's a pretty. It works as less like a pedal, a preamp pedal, but this is pretty good. DC 12 volt center negative. DC 12 volt center negative 12 volt. And I'm guessing because it's tube, it sucks tons of energy. Do we have a DC 12 volt? I have everything somewhere. Wait a minute. Cable this, cable there. There's a cable.
Just while you're doing that, I'll read some comments.
Yes, please.
Riz says he's late to the party. Is the tone cloning already finished? No, we haven't started with that yet. We're still looking at the Fender, and then we're about to look at this mini Bogner on the desk in front of me. After that, we get to the cloning.
I don't get my real power supply. Let's try this battery pack. I hope it can do the job. Maybe it does, maybe not. But just to give you an impression of a good patch cable. Patch cable. Patch cable. Here's a patch cable. Okay, today is special studio time.
Yep.
Output 1.
Francisco is watching from Brazil. He says Brazil is watching us.
Hey,
hello,
cool.
Brazil.
Hello, Brazil. It seems like I have a few people from Brazil. Sao Paulo, in the statistics, is pretty high.
Time for a Brazil clinic tour then at some point.
Let me go into... Okay, this is this pedal into my all-tube Super Reverb. It would have been even better with the original built-in, but okay. And now to compare, switch this off. The Tone Master. Versus there's a third dimension going on.
There is a difference for sure. I actually liken it to what you said earlier about delays. There's more of a warmth to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of rounder and more pleasant to the ear.
But also, when I just focus on the tremolo itself, there's like it hits me in a different way. It's like okay, this is now double, but if I would be drunk, this tube setup would feel like a lot more alcohol. It's like, oh yeah, groovy baby, and and the digital version is kind of, just very light alcohol. This has almost nothing here. Just to make sure, this is my China mix, Italian bitter with tons of lemon, which is great in wintertime and in summertime, and sparkling water. So, but not much alcohol. Anyway, so this was the tremolo part. Any questions? Or shall we move on to the Bogner?
Yeah, no questions about the Fender at the moment, so let's move on to the Mini head, because I think a lot of people would be interested to hear how this one sounds. Of course, it's the Bogner Mini Ecstasy, based on the full-size Ecstasy head, which is iconic in the amp world. I think most famously used by people like Steve Lukather, with whom you're very familiar.
Of course, I know Steve Lukather because he was another hero. And Steve Lukather sounds will be another episode one day. I saved that for future because, when you dive into all this stuff that he recorded over the years with different artists and with Toto and blah, 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 it's endless. So you have to be aware of too many things. So this will come, but okay.
Yeah.
So one thing about the Bogner, is it plugged in? It's plugged in.
It's plugged in down here.
You know what?
But
we go and take the Fender out. Today is amp switching time.
Yeah. So while Thomas does that, let me just explain again. This is the Mini Bogner made by the company behind Boutique Amps Distribution. There is the Mini Ecstasy. There is also a Mini Friedman BE head.
Yeah.
And there is also a Mini Dietzel VH4. So they're going after kind of more high gain amps at the moment. And there are more coming in 2022, I've heard on the grapevine, which should be slightly less high gain, but interesting idea. They look cool. Yeah. I can totally see why people would want to own these.
Sure. It's the perfect thing for the living room. Let's see what it does. Still in the Fender, I switched to number 4, which is...
Is it on?
Now it's on.
No.
So, that's the Bogner. Let me show you that's really the Bogner, because here's the volume. Presence. There's one thing I don't like, it's the fizz. I get fizz. Maybe you hear it. So I have the first thing that happened to me when I plugged it in, it didn't switch on. And then I found out that the power amp here is a Class D power amp.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a Haarbrücke. It's a bridge design, and it switched off every time I plugged it into the thing. When I plugged it into a standard speaker with nothing connected, it worked. So, and I got crazy. It's what's going on here? So I found out this power amp is a bit sensitive. Finally, I found out that I had to get this kind of totally grounded from the mixing desk and stuff like that by using the ground lift on the blue box, and then it worked. Another thing which I find is not so cool. Okay, now I'm bashing this amp. Sorry, because I highly respect Reinhold Bogner and I'm a big fan of Reinhold personally, but this is the truth. This comes with a laptop power supply, so you have to have that extra. And now I'm talking technical stuff. This is kind of the pedal and a standard Class D block put into a housing, and I would expect a bit more. So this is my brutal, sorry guys. I can hear that all the tone shaping, that's nice. It's kind of, it's there. Let's reduce the volume a bit. Because the harshness comes when the power amp clips. Yeah. This is like there's some still there, but yeah. So we have the nice features. I mean, there's the sagging, or what is it called here, the variac. Which gives you this extra sponginess versus a... It's tighter. It's also louder, but it's I can feel it. It's tighter. So treble. Maybe I played a Les Paul.
Yeah, that might work.
No.
Let me get it. What we should try is switching some of the mini switches on the amp. I don't know if you've done any of those.
I'm all about that.
Oh, okay, I can't see what you're doing, but one of them is a mid-frequency toggle, which selects one of 3 mid-frequencies.
Sure.
One of them is a pre-EQ, which offers mellower and more aggressive settings to drive the high end. So we might try reducing that.
Okay, so there's the pre-EQ switch. I mean, that's the thing about Reinhold. He knows guitar players, he plays himself, and he knows amps. So he has like 3 settings for the pre-EQ. I show you. So in the middle is kind of flat, and then there is a bright 1 left. And there's a bright 2 to the right, which brings in more mids. So. But I get this noise, and that's annoying me. Sorry, that's the power amp is not. I can hear that the if I know the preamp on this is killer. It is the pedal. It's what it should do. But Do
you think we're doing something wrong?
No. I tried this yesterday. I spent some time with it.
I feel like we could get better results.
If you, whatever. No, it's probably okay for the living room, I mean, you put it there, and if your speaker is not awake, and as the resolution we have here with the blue box is kind of really honest. This is why I use this as a reference. There's a lot of, it shows every frequency.
Yeah.
So it shows a lot. Gain. Let's do gain plus. Yeah. Yes. Okay, you have to decide for yourself.
Yeah, I think most of the guys think that Summit is wrong. It sounds like something is out of order. It sounds crazy. Stereo Coffee says it sounds like the speaker sim is off. That's kind of what it sounds like to me, but it's not. That's the problem. We know that's okay.
I give you an AMP1 just to That's iridium with tons of treble, you know. Okay, here's my... If you take this preamp or this pedal into a standard tube amp, it will sound killer.
Yes.
Because the tube amp will round it up. But the power amp stage on this one is a standard Class D model, and this is to show you that Class D, without any nice treatment, is not doing a good guitar power amp sound. So this is what we have different with our nanotube and the rest that is all done to make this organic. That's my word for it.
Yep, there's the comment, plug the Bogner line out into the AMP1 effects return, and then we're going to get...
We can do that.
A much chunkier sound. Do we have the option to do that quickly?
We have all options here. We have cables enough. Where is the line out? Oh yeah, there's effects loop.
Yeah.
Okay, can I grab your guitar cable? The one that you used at the intro song? Mm-hmm. We have messed up the studio completely in a second.
I didn't think we'd have so many different things that we'd be switching around.
Yeah, but anyway, it's this is what I like about live streams, because we go all the way. And to make everything super simple, we go and have the return on the send. Bam. Then let me plug in the guitar direct. So I'm totally... I don't know, because when I switched... So we have that plugged in. That's the AMP1. Yeah. Of course, I need to plug into the Bogner. If I want to play a Bogner, I plug into the Bogner. And now I need my effect.
Ich glaube, das Internet ist gerade abgekackt.
Internet?
Wiederverbindung erfolgreich.
Was passiert?
Seems to be running again.
Kommen wir nochmal in den gleichen Stream rein? Okay, geht. Okay, sorry guys, we had a disconnection with the internet. Yeah, shit can happen anyway. At least much better than
That's
before.
an improvement for sure.
Yeah. It's a bit noisy, so I switched it off. Bye-bye. Okay. Sorry. I mean, I love Bogner. I have a Bogner cabinet next door. I love it. It's one of the greatest cabinets besides my own cabinet, and that's why I bought it, because I got inspired with it, and I know Reinhold, and I used to have a Fish preamp rack mount. I know the Ecstasy, the original one. Okay, of course. How much is it? 200, 300?
Yeah, $250, $300 maybe.
Okay, so you have something with a logo on it, and you can put it in your living room and have fun with it. But sorry, I'm not so convinced about this, because my feeling is if he would design that all the way, I'm sure Reinhold didn't do the whole project because this guy has ears, big ears. So somebody took the pedal, put it there, put it to China, and off we go. Yeah, buy the pedal, plug it into your amp, and be happy. I'm not saying Bogner. Yeah, I'm for the money. Maybe it's okay.
But hey, this is why we test these things.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. I will just say that there have been comments from a few people like Lucas Fowler, who's on. Hi, Lucas. Saying that they've used the Ecstasy before the full-sized head, and whatever we've done with this, it just doesn't sound the same either. So don't go buying this expecting to get a smaller version of the full-sized head with the same levels of performance. You couldn't expect that.
Yeah, we had the Ecstasy in Academy of Tone last year. Don't ask me for the episode, but I had one there and compared it to the Mercury, and I could get very close, which means the original tube amp sounds different, better. Yeah, that's my So it's already there out there on YouTube. So talking about out there on YouTube, we have a bunch of other sounds. We have been asked, and what is we have a few that we prepared. There's one Nuno Bettencourt. I was who asked Hidde Rodenburg, and another guy. Two guys asked for Nuno Bettencourt, killer guitar player. I met him. He used to play a Triumph Mark I back in the days, and killer player, unbelievable great player, and his especially on the Porno Graffiti album. I need a Super Strat, but to show you this, it's okay. He was, he had all this kind of in between Eddie Van Halen and something else, maybe even Gary Moore, just because I'm a fan of Gary Moore. But okay, wait a minute, I fucked everything up because this goes into here, this goes there, and the guitar needs to go there, maybe. Okay, the point is, he was recording that album with Michael Wagner. Michael Michael Wagner. He is actually German. He emigrated to the US and he produced all these hard rock metal bands, the early, bands. And in his studio there was an ADA preamp. So with a preset number 45, which was the sound that he had for them all. And then he had some BBE sonic maximizers to get the fizz on top and to get it fast, to cut through the mix. And this kind of optimized sound that he produced became part of his trademark. So Nuno is a very rhythmical player. I mean, he plays fast, but he plays very controlled. There is no fluffy low end, nothing. I could find some notes where people said that he was using a red, but that's again the whole concept of having a low cut, reducing the low end before the saturation is on. But talking about that iconic tone, the ADA was a rack mount preamp with 2 tubes, and and then he tweaked it with an EQ, stuff like that, and tailored a tone that was kind of fast, tight, and precise. And I can. If I have an Iridium, I'm already there. There's nothing to worry about, is it? I can play weird chords, I can play fast, everything. There is no mud, there is no fat that you don't need. I remember from the Triumph days, he played the Channel 3B because that was kind of the punchiest. But he used not so much gain, and I think he had a pedal to get the gain back. So he wasn't. He boosted the amp with a pedal and used that kind of treble bleed function from the gain on the Triumph.
Okay, so that's a more natural tone to get from Iridium. Do you think you could get close with a Mercury?
Let's try. Let's try. It's a harder thing because the Mercury is not designed to do that. So basically, what I have done is reduce the gain because here is the too much fat. Okay, this kind of treble sounds a bit too fizzy now, but this is what he used on the records. You can tell if you would isolate the tracks, it's like, oh, but in the mix, it's fantastic because this is kind of the extra excitement. Actually, the same thing like Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen had also some high end, which was more than normal. And if it's just at the right thing, at the right amount, it's magic, you know. So let me give you a little bit more trouble. Back to the Iridium. I have tons more gain already. On the Mercury. Yeah, with this less gain, it works. I'm not the expert on his playing, but I try to emulate something like fast, and he does open strings. Yeah, so for me it's more Iridium than Mercury. But this is also doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can decide what you like better. For me, I plug into the Iridium and it's faster.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, his thing.
Yeah, I would say so too. Before we get on to the next artist, Tone, just something a little bit outside of the box. The guys have obviously noticed that we posted an Instagram post yesterday with you and Richard Fortus. And they'd like to hear the story of how an AMP1 came into his hands.
Okay, there's a nice story actually. New York. We have a sales rep for BluGuitar His name is Dave Van Epp from New York, and Dave used to be a salesman for Electro-Harmonix tubes. Back in the days, when I was still working with Hughes and Kettner, there was a guy coming from New York with a big case of tubes, and he showed me his tubes, and I said, let's have a listen, let's have a check. I spent a whole day with him listening to tubes. So this guy had my experience. It's like, okay, Thomas is not easy to convince. But finally, I decided that we can buy one kind of his tubes. So he was having a little business with us, and this was the thing. Years passed. He disappeared from the landscape. I haven't seen him anymore, at least 10, 15 years. Next thing is, being on a NAMM show, I had BluGuitar. BluGuitar, he said hello, he saw me with BluGuitar, but nothing happened. A year later, he had a back issue, and he came and said, I bought one of your AMP1s. And he said, it's killer. I couldn't believe it. It's like, man, is this true? But I know you, and you are so deep into tone, so I give it a try. He said, he couldn't believe that this thing is doing it. Okay, anyway, so this was Dave. Dave knows Richard Fortus, and at the NAMM show, he said, Richard, you should try out one of these. So he played it, and he said, fucking hell, he was like, this is it? Of course, that's it. And then his friend, Dave Van Epp, told him he's doing all the gigs with the stuff. So there was kind of a trust thing going on. And then, he simply bought one. And that's it. And he, we talked about it. And he's totally excited about it. He's a tone nerd himself. And the AMP1 is his one of his amps in his collection, and of course it's so ultra lightweight. He sold a lot of his collection on Reverb recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so this is kind of, hey, travel light and still got my tone kind of thing. So he's happy, we are happy, and it's actually, he knows how to play that amp right. I mean, match, perfect match. So that's the story. Dave Van Epp was the link, and the rest is history. So
cool.
This is how things sometimes go in nature. And Dave used to be one of those Nuno Bettencourts himself back in the 80s. I have seen pictures, when they all had long hair and they did the shred thing, and so but this is America. Back in the 80s, everybody was into that kind of music at a certain age, of course. And so, that's life behind the scenes. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool story. And who knows, maybe in future we get to go to America at some point and maybe meet.
I have names. I have names on my iPhone you wouldn't believe, but this is private. But big names. Arnie with an S at the beginning, and Berg from Nake, or you know what I mean. Anyway, these people, they.
How much alcohol is in that drink again?
Yeah, too much for you.
Yeah, that's
for me.
That's what
anyway,
I was
had another. No, this is. Okay, back to life.
Strong stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe one day in the future we'll be doing a Richard Fortus artist tone.
Mm-hmm.
But that's for the future anyway. Mm-hmm. You had a few more names written down from last time that you wanted to explain or talk about or share some info with the guys with.
Yeah, okay. Let me check. We have, there's more tones coming. But I think, Henrik Freischlader, there was a request. And of course, Henrik Freischlader is a killer German blues player, and we played together I sent him a text message, but hey, am I really getting drunk? I don't know what's going on.
Seems like it.
Yeah, super. Okay. Anyway, Henrik is hasn't answered yet, which is totally normal for him as an artist. But maybe one day I can lift the secret about his killer tone on Look at the Fool on his album. So there's a few still in the making. But what I like to do is let me show you a few videos. We have videos from Euge Valovirta, our Finnish friend who has been sitting at your side last summer here. Killer guy, I just like it. And he, his tone is the bad boy, and the Iridium is doing that thing. So maybe we have a quick check on that video. Academy of Tone. Let's check that stuff out a little bit. So, okay, maybe you can show again with and without the SD1 what it actually does for you.
Yeah, so let's take the delay also. The basic sound is just... As you can hear, there's not much gain.
No, it's more focused.
And this just silences it up, and adds a little bit sustain, because it's now I play it quite easily.
Yeah.
I can feel it and hear it, but if I would have like chance of gain, no,
it is over the cliff. It's you don't have to fight anymore, and you don't feel it anymore, because it's like you have a. If we would do this, I mean, you would win anyhow. But it's like, you know, I would be win. At least I have to fight against it, you know, to feel it.
Yeah, it's maybe a bit harder to play, but I feel.
It's connecting.
Connected.
Your energy connects to the way.
Kind of like work on that.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, if I play.
There's some magic.
There's that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so Euge, you can hear these kind of 80s, 90s tight metal tones, rock metal tones, and just you could see the settings actually on the camera, so it's written in big letters. And his secret weapon is the SD1 he uses with a lot of things. And that gives him the extra squeals things. We had a nice request from Mark Davidov from Moscow, Russia, and he wanted to ask, hey, maybe you can chase some Candlemass tones, and then Candlemass tones, easy, because Lars Johansson actually plays the Iridium. He was one of our first metal users for Iridium. So I sent Lars a text message, and within hours I had that picture of his pedalboard. So you can see his settings, which is nothing special. That's his little pedalboard. And he said that he's just in the studio doing recording for a new album. So Lars Johansson Candlemas, we also have a few sounds here, and he's very straightforward. There is no big secrets, just classic channel, and that's it. Another guy that also has been here is Manny Zebe. Manny is our Saarland metal guy, and Manny has also his own pedalboard. We have a little video, so let's check that out.
Hey girls and boys, this is Manny from Godslave, and this is my rig using the BluGuitar AMP1 Iridium Edition. As you can see, this is quite a simplistic pedalboard with not too many things on it. We use the Relay G30 wireless unit because we tend to run around a lot on stage. Then from there it goes straight into the Polytune tuner, into the guest slot, which is subject to change. Then I hit the WD7 wah pedal. Has a neat little feature in which you can turn it on by just putting a foot on it. It has a small timer which turns off the unit in a given amount of time. From then it's into this little compressor, which I just use for shits and giggles, basically. Just enhances the clean sound a little bit. And then it's straight into the input of the AMP1. I've got the TC Electronics Flashback 2 in the effects loop, and that's basically it. I use 3 simple presets, one of which is the clean channel you're hearing right now. Which is the clean channel of the AMP1 with the reverb engaged and the effects loop engaged for the flashback. Next on is the rhythm channel. Which is the boost engaged on the modern channel, the effects loop disengaged, and from then it's off to the lead channel. Which has the reverb engaged, the boost engaged, and the effects loop. And that's basically it. A clean sound, a rhythm sound, a lead sound, and that's all you need.
Yeah, Manny Zebe. I will ask Manny to do a few sounds for us in the territory of metal, which I have not the full deep understanding. You know, he knows that. So yeah, that's on my list for him to have a few iconic metal tones that how to dial them in on the Iridium. Talking about Iridium and the Saarland, we have another guy, Alex Beirut, of course. And there's a little video from him. Let's see that one, and then we have a famous one. Yeah, but now we are in Saarland. Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah. What are your settings when you go with the Iridium? Just to let people know, is there any specific thing that you are using, or?
Well, I use a lot the classic,
Yeah.
and the modern channel. Those are the main channels I use. Treble on 3, middle on 6, bass on 8, gain on 10, well, of course. And that's it.
Yeah, very straightforward. We had the gig 2 weeks ago on a Saturday, and we got booked another one. So I think there's more gigs with me and Alex coming up this year as well. I think 2 more already. That's a good thing. You do one thing, and then people want that band. Today was another guy calling me to do it in, I think, May. So outdoors, May, yeah. Okay. I'm very impressed, and I was always a big fan of Saga, the band. And Ian Crichton is, well, their guitar player, and he also was one of our first AMP1 users. And I've met him a couple of times. There's a little video where he explains about his setting, but watch it.
This guy goes into my carry-on in the plane and solves all the problems. And I'm using it,
International power. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anywhere in the world, and it sounds the same. That's the key.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice and fat. I mean, I play that thing on 4.
Okay.
And it's like turn down, Ian, turn down.
Cool. So I sometimes go up to 6. But
well, I can creep up there. As the keyboards start getting louder, you'll see me reach over. And
any other things in your settings? Where do you have the bass and mids? Is it in the middle or all the way up? Or?
Pretty much in the middle. Pretty much in the middle. With my blue Lado, it has a lot of bottom, so I roll a bit of that off.
Okay.
Just a bit of that because it's got a lot. And the fine tuners on the side. I got to set those up really good. I find the boost too, the boost button, very nice.
Okay.
I got to remember to turn it off though.
You like it that much?
No, I forget.
I see.
And you start playing and going, wait a minute, I'm a little bit. Oh,
it's a bit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's for me. I wanted to make a thing that has everything on it, so you are safe. Anywhere you go.
And it's proven to do that to me.
Super.
All year, And I've been going to Vancouver, down to Panama, all over the place, and I sound the same.
Yeah, super. Yeah, that's. I think this was my first professional film shoot with Ian. And guess how I did it? This was the phone. There was the camera stand. I put it there. And this is exactly how we've done the video in his hotel room before the show.
It's not too different to how we shoot the live stream now.
Well,
it's not, we have 3 iPhones on sliders and...
You wish. I mean, we have a GoPro here. We have a camera there. No, there, there. And so this is way more professional and proper audio with the clip-on mics.
It is, but that worked really well. That was a nice interview.
Yeah, and I mean, nice people make nice interviews, and the room wasn't too big, so that therefore the audio is okay-ish. But what I really liked these days, that things can be so easy. You simply go there, have a good time with them, spend half an hour, 15 minutes or whatever, and do an interview, watch a show, have a beer, and we've done this a few times already, which is cool.
Exactly. And for anyone who wants to watch the Ian Crichton content again, the interview with Thomas, there was some more chat. I think that is in Academy of Tone episode 19 at the end of the episode.
Yeah, and there's I think there's an artist video as well.
There is, yeah.
On the YouTube channel. Do we have? I see your notes here. There's a few more Jeff Beck tones. I was talking about in AOT 27, and Andy Timmons. Hey, Andy Timmons is actually a good thing because I know Andy quite well. We have not played together yet, but he plays my BluGuitar in this picture, and we met so many times in so many countries on trade shows and wherever, and shared stages, but never together. I'm looking forward to play with him. Would be on my wish list, and I would like to give you his tones as well. His trick, I know his trick because he showed me. He uses a Boss Blues driver in front of his Mesa amps that he using as an NRC, but also with Marshalls. Do I have there's my little blues driver copy. This little fellow is a hot tone rip-off of a blues driver. Small as can be.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens with this, it is a nice way to get a clean-up tone, and the blues driver is different from a tube screamer. You know, it's not as mid-honky. He plays his Ibanez with humbuckers, and something like that leaves the tone more organic, which I like. And he still has, tons of gain if needed, because it's an overdrive into an overdriven amp. So he doesn't use the blues driver in front of totally clean amps. So it's the cascaded gain or gain stacking. Nice. I like his tone. I like his playing, and I like him as a guy. I'm looking forward. One day it will happen, I'm sure. Guitar Summit. I played with a bunch of people, and if not this year, next year. Who else is on the list?
Yeah, the other big request that came through in the last week was a Brian May tone.
And talking about Brian May, we have already, I recorded an episode on my Vox AC30. I probably do that again in depth, but there is an A-B comparison of my, I think it's a 63, whatever, Holy Grail, brown, what was it, brown, no, what's it called, the brownish front panel. It's the Holy Grail of amplifier, Vox amplifier. Anyway, the best ones ever made. And I have an A-B thing in Academy of Tone.
Academy of Tone episode number 8, the Red Special episode it was called, because you had one of his, I guess, the modern Red Special guitars, was it?
Yeah. So if you want to check that out, there is a bit where I do the A-B with the AMP1 and the Vox AC30. And then there was even a Brian May section there. All that stuff will eventually end up on our knowledge base on the BluGuipedia, but it's tons of work to extract the videos, put them on there, put the stuff in there. It will be published soon, maybe next week. I'm looking in this corner because there's somebody that is dealing with the video snippets. Depends on how much time he has, but we are working on this. And this is the idea, to give you more inspiration with different tones. So,
Vox Copper Top would be the
Copper
way.
Top.
Max Carton is here to save the day,
thank
as
you.
usual.
Max, Copper Top. I knew it was a metal or, brownish, but copper is, it's a Copper Top.
And now I know why Victory Amps just made that amp with Danish Peak called the Copper.
See?
That's, okay.
Yeah,
it all makes sense.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it all yeah, makes sense. It comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
From 1963, from Fox amplification.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. I think we have a bunch of tones heard today. I find it always interesting to check out different products, and I'm looking forward to do some more in that respect. I'm looking to do more sounds for you guys. Yeah. Next week we have Rish, not Rich, we have Rish, and that's an interesting guy. I met him a couple of times in the UK. He is also an industry guy and a player, but at a certain point I thought he's following me like a fan. It's like everywhere I go in the UK, he was there, you know, and such a nice guy. Oh, every time I met him, you know, very nice. And he saw me play in Milton Keynes at Rock Hard Music, or what was it? Anyway, very close to the Marshall factory, because this is where, you know, all these stuff has been produced, and I played there with Mel Gaynor and my English Rock Anarchy. So he was there, and maybe another gig as well. And his story is very interesting because he joined an American metal band. Do you know anything about that?
Hard rock, metal, I would describe them. Yeah, they're called Unveil the Strength, and yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're on the kind of the American sort of, I think they call it the up and coming or the bubbling under charts or something like that.
Yeah.
And Rish actually replaced a guitar player called Andy James in the band.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys watching will know the name Andy James because he's well known in that scene. And so, yeah, Rish has joined that band. He's a great player.
Absolutely.
He does a lot of metal. There are videos of him, I think, playing the Iridium out there on the internet already. And next week he's coming across to visit us, to shoot some videos and to appear on Academy of Tone live.
Yeah, and he actually drives from London, UK, with the steering wheel on the wrong side to Germany on the wrong side for him. And
well, actually, English people would say that it's the right side and Germany is just the wrong side.
Yeah, so this is
I see his point.
Yeah. So, and he will, he will come and be with us 2 days.
Yeah.
We will do the live stream together and have some fun, because now it's the time that I can probably give something back. And he also has a quad cortex, so we will see how he combines the two units, the Iridium and that Neural DSP.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. And Rish just got hold of a BluGuitar MIDI 1 adapter
to have the MIDI switching.
So he'll be using the quad cortex to switch the Iridium, and he'll show off his presets and everything he's been doing with it. I think it's going to be quite interesting because the quad cortex hasn't really been available, and I don't know of anybody else who's using one in combination with an AMP1, and I don't even know if you've had the chance to do it.
I know people. Okay. I know. I mean, the Studio Rats.
Oh yeah, true. Paul from the Studio Rats is doing it. Yeah,
Paul
slipped my mind.
Yeah.
Maybe in the UK that's what everyone's doing, because that's where Paul's from as well.
Yeah. See, the Brits, they have it.
After Brexit, they took all the quad cortexes and all the Iridiums, and that's where they are.
Yeah, only 5, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. So I'm really looking forward to next week's episode with Rish. And thanks, Rich. We will do another one very soon, as usual. And if you do have more tone requests, just drop them here in the comments, or after thing. We kind of collect them and try to build up a nice library of tones for AMP1's Mercury, Iridium, and slowly but surely we're getting there.
Yeah, and they will all be going on to Blugipedia and the knowledge base as soon as they're ready. So check back there regularly, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we'll keep doing more of these episodes. And if you've subscribed, you'll find out when we do the next one.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. See you again next week. Same time, same place. Cheers.